What is up, everybody? Huxbucks here. Today's video, this is going to be highly unedited. It's me talking to you. You're not looking at much. Taking a page out of Neo's book. Today, we're going to talk about my plans and direction for the channel and my relationship with the hobby for 2025. I plan on making some semi-drastic changes. Personally, I think they'll be for the good. You might think they're going to be for the bad. We're just going to have to leave that as to be determined. Before I get into what's changing, I want you guys to know I do have a giveaway going on for the month of January. To enter, just be a subscriber. And on any January video, like that video, leave a comment on that video. Every video gets you one entry into the giveaway. Details are in the description below. So I would say in the last 30 days or so, actually more like the last 2 months of 2024, I started to think about how I wanted to engage with the hobby and what my relationship would be with the hobby. I want to tell you my conclusion, and then I'll tell you my reasoning behind it and how I got there. Basically, for 2025, I don't plan on opening that much wax, or at least not nearly as much wax as I did in 2024. I realize I know what that means for the channel. I've built this channel on opening product. I've built a base audience out of that. It's what you guys expect. So I understand if there's a level of disappointment you might have in hearing that. I'm still going to open wax. That's not going to change. I'm just going to be more particular with what I open. I'm still going to do hobby content. I still love the hobby. I just want to have a different relationship with it. So what was my thought process here? Well, it's multi-layered. Kind of like Shrek said, an ogre's like an onion, and me getting here was kind of like an onion. The first layer and most superficial layer was just the financials of opening wax. It is, and we all know it, a losing proposition. I've said it on my channel before. I know it, you know it, we all know it. We do it because it's fun, and it is fun. But operating a YouTube channel, you feel a pressure, a need to continually pump out content. And a channel built on opening wax has to keep buying wax and opening wax. And what ends up happening, at least for me personally, was I end up buying wax and product that I otherwise wouldn't. I think part of me thought at some point along my journey that I would reach a break-even point. I'm here to tell you that point never came, nor will it. I won't dive into the nitty-gritty here. At some point, I will. I'll do a video on the financials of a YouTube video to show you guys exactly what it looks like. There are a lot of ways I thought I could get back to break-even. You know, reselling cards I wasn't going to PC, grading cards to make up cost, ad revenue, all of it together never came close to break even. So at some point recently, the scales just tipped. The cost outweighed the fun. I suspect it's been happening longer than I was willing to admit. Initially, when I started the YouTube channel, I loved ripping wax. I could do it all day, every day. The cost really didn't matter. I had the money to spend, so I spent it. My thought process has changed now, and you really know why when we get to the center layer of this onion. That's not to say I'm not going to open wax going forward. I still will, just not nearly as much. And this is not me telling you not to open wax. Do what you love, do what you enjoy, but do it responsibly. The second layer is just time. I'm sure you guys know, and I'm not boasting here or anything like that. The way I put out videos, put out content, is very time consuming. I do not turn on my camera, start recording, rip some packs, say some names, and then upload it to YouTube. Now your jaw is probably going to drop here, especially if you're a content creator, but I would wager I spend 5 to 6 hours, start to finish, producing a video. I do research on a product, I film the video, I edit the video, publish the video. It is very time consuming for me. I have a job, I have a girlfriend, I have the semblance of a social life. It's a lot. I do love editing videos. It's why I do it. I still enjoy editing videos. When I come up with a little idea, like my last video with the longevity meter, it tickled me pink. I hope you enjoyed it just as much. Editing to me, and this is going to sound super lame, but it was a way to let out my creative juices, so to speak. I've never wanted to do, nor will I ever want to do, what everybody else does. I realize, essentially, I'm doing what everybody else does. I'm opening wax. I'm opening sports cards, showing them off. And that's the primary reason why someone watches a YouTube channel. I realize I don't need to do all this editing necessarily to have a successful YouTube channel, but that's not in my nature. I wanted to create something different, something unique in this sports card YouTube niche. It's just not in my nature. So I guess you could say I had a moment of clarity, realizing what I should change, but what I can't change because it's just not in my personality, not my DNA. I realized it's just not going to happen. Layers 1 and 2 kind of have their tendrils in each other. If I'm going to invest that amount of time in every video, and every video is not going to generate nearly enough revenue to even remotely sustain itself, then it kind of just stops making sense. But I know sports cards is not about the money. At least it's not supposed to be. And that leads me into layer 3. I realized I was not engaging in the hobby to its fullest extent. There's multiple ways to participate in the hobby. There's the aforementioned opening product. There's an investment aspect, a long-term future outlook. You could be a reseller. Some people find that exciting. I actually do. And then, most importantly, there's buying singles and building your personal collection. Number 2 and 3, investing and reselling, is kind of a recent phenomena, so to speak. It's definitely risen in popularity since the boom. But numbers 1 and 4, and that's what I want to focus on, have been a staple of the hobby since its inception. As kids, how did we engage with the hobby? We opened some packs, and we collected the cards we liked the most. We traded away with our best buddies the ones we didn't want, so we could get cards we wanted. What the hobby should be and is supposed to be are those two things. And I have a terrible imbalance in 1 and 4. I open way more product than I buy singles. The resources I allocate towards wax far outweighs the resources I spend on singles and building my PC. And for 2025, I want to change that. I essentially want to bring balance to how I engage in the hobby. I want to bring a balance to the force. I want to engage in all aspects of the hobby. I want to open product. I want to invest long term. I want to resell. But most importantly, I want to build my personal collection. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to bring me the most satisfaction, the most enjoyment within the hobby. Like I said, wax is fun. I enjoy opening wax, but it is a temporary high, more often than not, leaving you with a sense of emptiness. We know you open product, you open wax, you're left with nothing, more times than not. You're always chasing that one high. It's not unlike a drug addict seeking his next fix. What I am essentially saying is, I'm going to rebalance my resources in the hobby. Those two resources are my time and my money. My money is going to go more towards buying singles and less towards wax. That's going to affect and change my time allocation. What does that mean to you? It simply means you're going to see less videos on this channel, less content on this channel related to sealed product, or at least opening sealed product. As I reprioritize my engagement with the hobby, what that's going to look like is probably one less video a week. My plan is to put out 2 videos a week and 1 short. There might be some weeks where I put out 3. There might be some weeks where I put out less. We're going to see. I'm not going to be beholden to opening product, because when you have a YouTube channel, timing is of the essence. There's a new product, you got to get it out ASAP. That isn't to say I'm not going to still put out content. So you're probably asking yourself, what kind of content are you going to put out? There'll still be some product openings and reviews that you're used to, but what you're going to see more of over the next year is more data-driven kind of videos. Think Teapot, he's my personal hero. Seriously, it's what interests me in the hobby. I think that's what's lacking in the hobby. Really feelings over facts, especially when it comes to sealed wax and opening boxes. It's really just that feeling. All it is that feeling of chasing the big card, that promise that's never fulfilled. There's real no bottom-up looking glass for sealed product, and I hope to change that. Baseball does an excellent job in in this regard. Football and basketball, not so much. And no, I'm not going to do like hobby news type content. I feel like Neo and Dan the Cardman have that pretty much covered. I'm not nearly dialed in to do that, and I don't want to be. And I fully realize that I might lose some subscribers and views, and it might be a struggle, and my channel's probably going to take a dip in that regard going forward. And I'm perfectly fine with that. But you might not be, and that's okay, because my goal at the end of the day is twofold. One, to bring myself a little bit more enjoyment to the hobby, and two, possibly most importantly, is to hopefully convert and create more rational actors in the hobby. This might sound a little self-righteous, but I think the hobby as a whole needs a little rebalancing as well. I don't think I'm alone in how I approach the hobby over the last several years. I think there's plenty of people that spend the vast majority of their resources on sealed product versus building a personal collection. And if I can do my teeny tiny little part while enjoying the hobby, that's going to make me happier. Then that's all the better for me, you, and the hobby as a whole. This is the Warm and Fuzzies talking, but I just want to make the hobby a better place for everyone. And to anyone who disagrees, who doesn't like the direction I'm going to take the channel, fair enough. There's plenty of YouTube channels out there. What I will ask you is give me a chance. If I have not proven over the last 2 years of creating content is that I'm going to do something different, something unique that most content creators don't do, I feel like I've earned that trust just a little bit. If not, that's fine too. And things might change in the future. The market landscape might shift. Wax prices might come down. They might be a better proposition. And I honestly hope they do, because opening product is supposed to be part of your experience with the hobby alongside building a personal collection. But for the foreseeable future, this is going to be my trajectory in the hobby going forward. So there you have it. That's the direction the channel is going to be headed in the foreseeable future, unless sealed wax and singles prices rebalance themselves. That's what the channel is going to look like. So stick with me, hang in there, wait till you see what it's going to look like. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Maybe you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button. Like the video, helps out tremendously. I want to thank you guys for spending even just a minute of your time with me today. Until next time, peace.